Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki Durlabhamanusho Deho Dehinam Shanabhangurai Tatrapi Durlabham Manye Vaikuntha Priya Darshinaha Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Jai Śrī Caitanya Prabhu Nityaṁ Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ārādhayo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachitupasana Vargena Va Kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Pramanamamanam Prema Pumartho Maha Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu Matamidam Tatradara Napara. Jai Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 5, entitled The Meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. We read till text number 11 yesterday, so we will continue from there and make progress. So Nandotsav is going on. Everyone is nicely dressed with nice ornaments. They have come to the home of Nanda Maharaj and everyone is very happy. They have got different articles to offer. So that was the point where we stopped last time. Let's move on to the next verse, text number 12. Dashisha Prayunjanash Chiram Prahati Balake Haridra Churna Tailadibhi Sinchantyo Ajanam Uja Guhu. Translation by His Divine Grace Abhicharanaya Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Offering blessings to the newborn child Krishna, the wives and daughters of the cowherdmen said, "May you become the king of Raja and long maintain all its inhabitants." They sprinkled mixture of turmeric powder, oil, and water upon the birthless Supreme Lord and offered their prayers. Hare Krishna. So quite straightforward here, but I like the word used here. They have come for celebrate the birth ceremony, right? The Lord is just born yesterday, but the word used here is he's birthless, janam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is janma. He's never born. Well, that's true for the spirit soul, but the Supreme Lord is the supreme controller. He is not born like an ordinary jiva is born by the influence of the three modes. When he is born, we call it appearance. When he appears and disappears, like the sun and the rising and the setting of the sun. But the whole atmosphere is very joyful. Everyone is happy and they are sprinkling what? Mixture of turmeric powder, oil, and water on the Lord. Basically a sign of auspiciousness. these pure ingredients, natural ingredients, like a festival. They are celebrating this, giving their blessings to the Lord and offering their prayers. May you become great, may you become the king of Raja, because he's the son of Vrajendra Nandana Ji. He's the Vrajendra Nandana, or the son of Nanda Maharaj. So, any other comments anyone has? Next one.
Prabhu, just curious. Just curious, were they using oil back then too? Like maybe ghee, yes. I know, but yeah.
Yes, certainly. Okay. The technology, we think it's advancing, right? But actually it's degrading. The kind of development at that time was even advanced. You want to speak of, like, when Ravana had this Pushpak Viman, which used to run with the energy of mind. So the weapons Krishna had, the weapons Arjuna had, earth weapons, water weapons, wind weapons. We don't know about these weapons. We just know about the fire weapons. We don't know about the water weapons, and even modern scientists don't know. So it's certainly they were much advanced. What to speak of oil? Yes, they were using that oil, natural oil, organic oils, and even they were applying it to the cows. We read a few verses back. Over there also the word taila came, that they were putting the marks on the cows with haridra. Same words were used, haridra and taila. So haridra referring to turmeric, and taila, these are auspicious ingredients. These days we don't use much. We use very impure oils and impure foodstuffs, but yes, certainly they had those, yes, and a lot more, which we don't have.
Good to know, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. And everything was very pure. I think maybe it will come later. They would throw on each other like balls of butter, and even nowadays, Vrindavan, they celebrate Holi like this. Nowadays, even big people, they may not have pure butter to eat, right? But they would throw like so much opulence. So yes, certainly they had Taila and all these. Thank you. Very nice inquisitive question. Let's move to the next one, 13. I would like to read this one. Vipul Pro, you want to read?
Yes, sure. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dhanva Pranam, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupada, text 13. Abadayanto vichitrani baditrani matshave Krishne vishvashbhare anante nandasya brajam agate. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Now that all-pervading, unlimited Lord Krishna, the master of cosmic manifestation, had arrived within the estate of Maharaj Nanda, various types of musical instruments resounded to celebrate the great festival. Purport, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhuthanam adharmasya tadattanam sijami aham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Whenever Krishna comes, once in a day of Brahma, he comes to the house of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. Krishna is the master of all creation, Sarvalokamasharam. Therefore, not only in the neighborhood of Nanda Maharaj's estate, but all over the universe and in all the other universes, musical sounds celebrated and the auspicious arrival of the Lord. So it's been a description how the Nandotsav is going on. Even with an ordinary child like me born, there's some kind of celebration happens, parents are happy, sweets are distributed, some family members come. But when the Lord comes, definitely all for the universe, even these three material in the beyond this universe, all over the universe, there's a celebration, festivals goes on. And here we see that not only the neighborhood, the Nanda Maharaj estate, but all over the universe and in all of the other universe, musical sounds celebrated. So there's a great time and great fortune for everybody to come and see the Lord. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, such a beautiful festival. It is mentioned that music is naturally, one becomes joyful. Music is heals. It's sometimes there's healing therapy also. Music is used. So naturally, it creates a festive mood. Festival without music is kind of dry, right? So here they're using multiple musical instruments and to celebrate this great festival. So like in ISKCON also we use different musical instruments to celebrate the festivals, primarily mridanga, kartal, and harmonium are the major ones used in ISKCON to celebrate all the festivals, like Ram Navami, Janmashtami, etc., etc. So everyone is happy, in short. In short, we should be happy. Every day is a festival, actually, in the life of a devotee, because every day the Lord is appearing in the form of holy name. So devotee is always happy. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Because the Lord is appearing every day, then every day is Nandotsav, every day is Janmashtami in the form of holy name, in the form of Bhagavatam, Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. So a devotee should. That does not mean that ups and downs don't come in the life of devotees. They will certainly come. Health and disease, wealth and poverty, name, fame, defame, etc. Some or the other ups and downs will always be there, but devotee is happy. Any more thoughts here?
I just want to share. We also see that same happened when Mahaprabhu Gauranga Nimai was born. Even though there was not that much Vaishnava community at that time, but because Lord is coming, so the time and thing, there was an eclipse, and during the eclipse, even if someone is not Vaishnava, but they are going to say Hari Bol, just for invoking auspiciousness. So when Nimai was born, and at that time there was an eclipse, and everybody was, at that time in Navadvip was not that many Vaishnavas was there, but a lot of Smarta Brahmanas there. So they were all saying Hari Bol, and they were giving the Uludhoni, the Bengalis special. And then they were playing these cymbals and all these things. So it looks like when Lord comes, by hook or crook, this is going to be happening. Like everybody is going to be happy. Just want to share. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, let's read the next one. Text number 14. Let's read this.
I can read through.
Yes, please.
Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 14. Gopa parashparam rishta dhodhi kshira gritam buddhi gritam bhubi ashinchanta bilimpanto navanitascha chikshipu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Translation. In gladness, the coward man enjoyed the great festival, by splashing one another's bodies with a mixture of curd, condensed milk, butter, and water. They threw butter on one another and smeared it on one another's bodies. Purport: for from this statement, we can understand that 5,000 years ago, not only was there enough milk, butter, and curd to eat, drink, and cook with, but when there was a festival, it would be thrown about without restriction. There was no limit to how extensively milk, butter, curd, and other such products were used in human society. Everyone had an ample stock of milk, and by using it in many varied milk preparations, people would keep good health in natural ways and thus enjoy life in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So here Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that how wealthy that time even the Vaishyas were, because in Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj was the king of the Vaishyas, and everybody was Vaishyas there. And they were financially very affluent. And their main business were actually milk and milk products. And Prabhupada is explaining that it's not only the financially, but also it's physically and mentally also. It was very healthy at that time. So, I mean, just because they were living on the cows, natural things. And Prabhupada is explaining here that it was keeping also not only in the spiritual, mental, but also in good health and in natural ways. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, back to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, these days to have good quality milk, condensed milk, butter. There's a joke that even, these are just in the air, or in the dreams only one can relish them. But the Vrajavasis are having a fun gala time around Krishna consciousness, around the culture of cow protection. This is real prosperity. So much of butter. In Vrindavan till date, they celebrate Holi like this. 40 days they celebrate Holi, or Festival of Colors, and it's only one day in most parts of the world. But in Vrindavan, it's this for 40 days. Different types of Holi. Some day with laddu, some day with latha or sticks. But it's all a festival of joy, a festival of Krishna consciousness. So basically, we see the root is right here. When Krishna is born, it's a festival of joy, and they are sharing out of love, out of smearing it on one another's body. Nowadays, people don't even have to even eat. What to speak of smearing on the body. So, and they're healthy. There's a common misconception these days, cow milk, and this will happen, that will happen, ghee, this will happen, that will happen. These are all very healthy. There are hundreds and hundreds of preparations which can be made from cow milk alone. Hundreds of preparations. So, again, the culture centered around cows here, you see. The culture, just real prosperity. Any other comments anyone has? Okay, we'll read the next one. So these two verses are together. Would someone like to read 15, 16?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Pranam. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Texts 15 to 16. Nando Mahamanastabhyo Vasho Lankara Godhanam Suta Magadha Vandivyo yanya vidyapajita vinaha tashtya kamer adinatma yathochitam apujjayat Vishnur aradhanarthaya swaputrasyodayacha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The great-minded Maharaja Nanda gave clothing, ornaments and cows in charity to the cowherd men in order to please Lord Vishnu, and thus he improved the condition of his own son in all respects. He distributed charity to the Sutas, the Magadhas, the Vandis, and men of all other professions, according to their educational qualifications, and satisfied everyone's desires. Purport. Although it has become fashionable to speak of Daridra Narayana, the words Vishnu Aradhanarthaya do not mean that all the people satisfied by Nanda Maharaj in this great ceremony were Vishnu. They were not Daridra, nor were they Narayan. Rather, they were devotees of Narayana, and by their educational qualifications, they would satisfy Narayana. Therefore, satisfying them was an indirect way of satisfying Lord Vishnu. Mad Bhakta Pujvayodhika, Bhagavat 11.19.21. The Lord says, worshipping my devotees is better than worshipping me directly. The Varnashrama system is entirely meant for Vishnu Aradhana, worship of Lord Vishnu. Varnashrama charavata purushena parapuman Vishnur aradhayate. Vishnu Puran 3.8.9. The ultimate goal of life is to please Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. The uncivilized man or materialistic person, however, does not know this aim of life. Na te vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Bhagavat 7.5.31. One's real self-interest lies in satisfying Lord Vishnu, not satisfying Lord Vishnu, but instead attempting to become happy through material adjustments. Bahir Artha Maninaha is the wrong way for happiness, because Vishnu is the root of everything. If Vishnu is pleased, everyone is pleased. In particular, one's children and family members become happy in all respects. Nanda Maharaja wanted to see his newborn child happy. This was his purpose. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy Lord Vishnu, and to satisfy Lord Vishnu, it was necessary to satisfy his devotees, such as the learned Brahmanas, Magadhas, and Sutas. Thus, in a roundabout way, ultimately, it was Lord Vishnu who was to be satisfied. So this purport, Prabhupada, is very significantly describing that Nanda Maharaj is giving charity to make his son happy, and for his happiness, actually Nanda Maharaj is doing the charity to the devotees of Lord Vishnu. So here Prabhupada is strictly mentioning that Daridra Narayan, this word is not a right word, because Narayan has a lot of opulence. Lord Vishnu has all the opulences. So he is the supreme enjoyer. So how he can become a Daridra or poor? So it's a wrong words. So that's what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, that those people, they are not Daridra and not the Narayan or Vishnu. They are all the devotees of Lord Narayan. So, and Narayan always, Vishnu always, Krishna always be happy when someone give the respect to his devotees. So that's why he's saying like worshipping my devotees is better than worshipping me directly. So always Krishna wants his devotees to be glorified than him. So that's why here, that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here several times, that satisfying his devotees is to satisfy Lord Vishnu himself. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful. Again, this word Mahamanahi is used because to show his magnanimous, charitable nature. When he gave 2 million cows, the same word was used, Mahamana. So great souls are very, very magnanimous because they are very charitable, they are very generous to others. So Nanda Maharaj, Vishnu Aradhanarthaya. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Yagya Arthat. Yagya Arthat. Yagya here basically is also Vishnu or Krishna. So Vishnu Arthat, or here Vishnu Aradhana Arthaya. Quite similar, right? Artha means a reason. What is the reason? Nate vidu swartha, swa artha. What is the real interest? What is the real self-interest? Nate vidu. They do not know. Swa artha Vishnu. So swa artha is Vishnu Aradhana Arthaya or Vishnu Arthaya or Yagyartha Nath Karmano. Same thing. Yagyarthanat Yagyarthat Karmano Nitya Loko Yatra Karma Bandhana. That means the work which is not done to satisfy Vishnu is Karma Bandhana. Will bind us. Whether it is in mode of goodness, passion or ignorance, if the focus is not Krishna or Vishnu, they are like chains, golden chains, silver chains or iron chains, but still chains. Tad artham karma konteya mukta sangha samachare. That means the tad artham, that means Vishnu artham, the work done as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu or Krishna, mukta sangha samachare. That will free one from the bondage. So here Nanda Maharaj is not doing some ordinary charity. It is pure devotional service or bhakti yoga, because it is done keeping Krishna as the center, Krishna consciousness. It's not just mode of goodness. People in the mode of goodness may be charitable, but if the focus is not Krishna, it's just a mode of goodness activity. But here, the focus is to please Lord Vishnu and the servants of Lord Vishnu, that is the Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, Magadas, etc. So, Prabhupada is saying it's the roundabout way. In fact, actually, Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Adhikam. I'm more happy when my devotees are served. So, Lord Krishna is happy, and Nanda Maharaj is showing by his own example, and also for the improvement in all aspects, basically. And even Prabhupada's father would serve Brahmanas, would serve Vaishnavas, and ask, may you please bless my child, so that the child can be improved in all aspects. And the main aspect is Krishna consciousness. Gaur Mohan Desh, Prabhupada's father, would always ask the devotees who would come, please bless my child. Please pray for my child so he becomes a pure devotee of Sri Radharani. This is the real blessing. Materialistic people will ask, oh, please bless so that my child can be a successful engineer, doctor, lawyer, right? Material designation. Oh, he gets a nice wife. Oh, he gets a nice husband. Oh, he gets a nice house or job. This is not the real blessing. This is not the real improvement. Well, that by the law of material cycle, whatever is destined will happen. But by the blessings of Vaishnavas, certainly the odds of one becoming devotee. Even Narad Muni, how he got to become Narad Muni, because his mother would serve the Bhakti Vedantas and the child would be engaged in seva. So that's another thing. When we invite devotees to our home, especially senior devotees, Prabhupada disciples, etc., our children will knowingly, unknowingly also see that culture, right? Like Srila Prabhupada saw from his father. So we must do that to the best of our ability. In the West, opportunities are, it's kind of both ways. If we are looking for opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities. But if you're not, then there's not. But in one way, there are actually more opportunities to serve here. Because in India, there are so many devotees. Let's say in the temple, there are 5,000 devotees. If some senior Maharaj comes, and everyone wants to host them, and there's, you know, a new devotee may not even get chance to get close. But here in Tampa, devotees like Sudhir Prabhu, Vipul Prabhu are always so eager to host senior Vaishnavas. You know, Baswati Mataji, Prabir Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, Ekant Prabhu. Everyone is so eager to host and invite devotees, Prabhupada disciples, sannyasis. It's a great thing. Then the children will meet them. They will knowingly, unknowingly, even if they give a little water to them, that's devotional service, right? So they will, you know, pick their bags. They will, you know, they will assist them. They will talk to them. They will get their blessings. So much mercy is available in one way. So we must try our best whenever these opportunities come. Hare Krishna. Any more comments anyone has? So we'll read the next one. Text 17. I can't throw into the.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Text number 17. Rohini cha Mahabhaga Nanda Gopa Vinandita Vyachara Divya Vasas Kanta Abharana Bhushita. Translation and purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. The most fortunate Rohini, the mother of Baladev, was honored by Nanda Maharaj, Ian, and Yashoda. And thus, she also dressed gorgeously and decorated herself with a necklace and a garland and other ornaments. She was busy wandering here and there to receive women who were guests at the festival. Purport. Rohini, the other wife of Vasudevas, was also kept under the care of Nanda Maharaj with her son Baladeva. Because her husband was imprisoned by Kamsa, she was not very happy. But on the occasion of Krishna Janmashtami Nandotsava, when Nanda Maharaj gave dresses and ornaments to others, he also gave gorgeous ornaments, garments and ornaments to Rohini, so that she could take part in the festival. Thus, she was also busy receiving women who were guests. Because of her good fortune in being able to raise Krishna and Balarama together, she is also described as Mahabhaga, greatly fortunate. Thank you, Prabhu. Please explain.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you. What are your thoughts?
Obviously, she's Mahabhaga because she really cared Krishna and Balaram like with motherly affection. Krishna, even though Krishna did not really come from her, but she really seen him grow up and pass motherly affection to him. So I think that's she's a very great devotee of Govinda. And also since it's Krishna Janmashtami, it's a good occasion that there is no need to be sad about anything that happens in our life. There are so many things, going up and down. We always have good and badness, especially on festivals like Janmashtami, and I think that recently we are getting Ram Navami as well. So there's other celebrations we all need to take part with, with a lot of happiness, because it's a festival of we are celebrating our dear Krishna Govinda's birthday. So I mean that's why she was Nanda Maharaj was giving her good ornaments and garments to get to wear, and also be happy with the occasion, and enjoy that enjoy the day. That's something.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful. The two words which are used here are Mahabhaga, great fortune. And I was reminded of this beautiful verse. Aho bhagyam, nanda gopa vrajokasam, yan mitram paramanandam, purna brahma sanatanam. Aho bhagyam, what great fortune. How great fortunate are Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd men, and all the other inhabitants of Rajabhumi. There is no limit to their good fortune, great fortune, Mahabhagya, Aho Bhagya. Because the absolute truth, the Paramanandam, Yad Mitram Paramanandam, the source of transcendental bliss, Param Anandam, pure transcendental bliss, Purna Brahma Sanatanam, the eternal Supreme Personality, Supreme Brahman, became their friend, Yan Mitram. So, someone's child, someone's friend, someone's different relationship, different rasas, but the fortune of all the Vraja Okasam, the residents of Raja, which here includes Rohini Mata. And Rohini Mata had special kind of fortune because she was the one who narrated later the childhood pastimes, and that's how the Jagannath's form was there. Krishna turned stunned to hear his own pastimes, and his eyes became big, his arms went inside the Lord's form. It was the Rohini Devi who narrated those. Although, as a woman away from the husband, whose husband is in prison, the moral etiquette is not to dress nicely. But here we see that Krishna's happiness is much higher than all the so-called moral etiquette, right? When Krishna called the gopis gave up everything. Sarv dharman parityaja. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Sarvabhaumacharya and said, take prasadam, Jagannath Prasad. He said, Baba, when I brush nahi kiya, I have not even brushed. He said, Sarv dharman parityaja. To hell with brushing, take Krishna Prasad. So the point is that there are certain moral etiquettes and duties, but we have to see what is higher. Of course, that does not mean that we don't abide by the general moral things, but here the higher principle is there. Therefore, her vastras, vasa, vasansi jirnani thavihara. So vasa here referring to clothes. Her clothes are divine, transcendental, divya vasa. So beautiful transcendental dress with wonderful garlands and wonderful jewelry and covering the neck and ornaments are described here. Aho bhagyam, mahabhaga. Any other comments? Next one. Next reading. Would like to read, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees, and afternoon. Tata arabhya nandasya raja sarva samruddhiman Hare nivasatma gunai rama kritam
Abunrapa. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Maharaja Parikshit, the home of Nanda Maharaja is eternally the abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his transcendental qualities and is therefore always naturally endowed with the opulence of all wealth. Yet, beginning from the Lord Krishna's appearance there, it became a place of pastimes of the goddess of fortune. Perfect. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasamrata Semyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The abode of Krishna is always served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. Whereas Krishna goes, the goddess of fortune naturally resides with him. The chief of the goddess of fortune is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Krishna appears in the land of Vraja, indicated that the chief goddess of fortune, Radharani, would also appear there very soon. Nanda Maharaj abode was already opulent, and since Krishna has appeared, it would be more opulent in all respects. Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, here we can see that Srila Prabhupada is stating that Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambrama Sevyamanam. So wherever Lord Krishna is there, Lakshmi Devi is already, of course, he Radharani, who is the chief among all the Lakshmis. So generally people sometimes, do Lakshmi Puja, but they don't think that Lakshmi will not be there if Lord Vishnu is not there. So if Lord Vishnu is there in our heart, Lakshmi Devi will be there automatically. So here, Nanda Maharaj, he is already opulent because he is involving in the pastime in the Leela of Lord Krishna. And since Krishna is there, he became even more opulent. Of course, it is nothing for Nanda Maharaj. So Prabhupada is nicely explaining that Radharani is of Nanda, as we see, Ekatma Dvisharira. So Radharani will be there wherever Lord Krishna is there, and she makes the pastime even more happier, even more opulent. And here Srila Prabhupada is telling that Nanda Maharaj has that opportunity to give in charity and with all his opulence. Please add a correct Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, Prabhu. One who has Krishna in one's life, rest everything will follow. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kore Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Koila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. If one pleases Krishna, today only I was hearing this. In South India, they offered, in this Matha, Udupi, or Tirupati, they offered, the Swami, the sannyasi offered crown for, this is an old news, not recent. Of course, they may be offering now also. A crown worth 1 crore rupees, which is a lot. And people, atheistic people say, hey, you could have served the poor with that money, you could have done this with that money and that with. And Srila Maharaj was explaining that so many people spend like this, what is this in Tampa, this event happened, I forgot that. What is that event called? Where the ticket cost is like $10,000 or something. I forgot, big game.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah, Super Bowl. And like that, there are multiple events across the globe. Somewhere cricket, somewhere baseball, somewhere Super Bowl, somewhere basketball. The ticket is worth in thousands of dollars for one person, and thousands of persons come, right? For one tiny event where few ordinary people are playing some with ball or bat or whatever. The prime ministers and presidents have so much security, so much private jets and private cars and very luxury apartments and bungalows and whatnot. No one questions that. So many people have. I was watching, someone sent an article. Someone bought a dress for their marriage worth $5 million. Can you imagine? No one will question that. Maharaj was mentioning, if every minute such crowns are offered to the Lord, that is still nothing for the Lord. Because real opulence is to serve the Supreme Lord, to water the root. If we water the root, then every part of the plant, every part, twig, branch, leaves, etc. will be watered. If we ignore the root and try to individually water, they'll never be happy. So here, where Krishna is present, Lakshmi is always there. Where Madhava is there, a chaste wife always accompanies the husband. So Krishna is Madhava, or the husband of the goddess of fortune. So opulence will always be there. And then we see the opulence in all these verses, their interaction, their charity and everything. We see so much opulence here. Why? Because they are genuinely, selflessly, eagerly serving Krishna. So where Krishna is there, all good fortune will be there. And where Krishna is not there, there cannot be good fortune in one's life, no matter how much money. That all will ultimately be lost. Any other comments, thoughts anyone has? Text 19. Yes, Shilpa Mataji, you want to read?
I'll try to. Gopan Gokula Raksayam Nirupya Maturam Gata Nanda Kamsasya Varsikyam Karam Datum Kurudvaha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sukadeva Goswami continued, Thereafter, my dear King Parikshit, O best protector of the Kuru dynasty, Nanda Maharaj appointed the local cowherdmen to protect Gokula and then went to Mathura to pay the yearly taxes to King Kamsa. Purport: because the killing of babies was going on and had already become known, Nanda Maharaj was very much afraid for his newborn child. Thus, he appointed the local cowherdman to protect his home and child. He wanted to... Prabhuji, if you can scroll. He wanted to go immediately to Mathura to pay the taxes due and also to offer some presentation for the sake of his newborn son. For the protection of the child, he had worshipped various demigods and forefathers and given charity to everyone's satisfaction. Similarly, Nanda Maharaj wanted to not only to pay Kamsa the yearly taxes, but also to offer some presentation so that Kamsa too would be satisfied. His only concern was how to protect his transcendental Krishna, child Krishna, Hare Kṛṣṇa. So, I think we were talking about the celebrations and the festival until the past, and here we are talking about how Nanda Maharaj is thinking of going to Mathura to pay taxes. I think it's a daily practice of, not daily, but probably they might have some duration on paying taxes, and he has to go and pay taxes, and at the same time he wants to offer presents to the king Kamsa. That way he's satisfied, and probably he'll change his mind in stopping the killings of the kids. And I think looks like we talked about earlier. We talked about Kamsa talking to his ministers and so forth, right? They were praising Kamsa, that he was great. Looks like while we were talking about the festival, the Kamsa already started to collect all the small kids and kill them. And that word has already reached Vrindavan and Nanda Maharaj. So he's a little bit afraid, a little bit concerned about his child. If Kamsa's security guards would come and get the newborn child as well. And at the end, I think Prabhupada was mentioning transcendental child. So looks like Nanda Maharaj is already aware that Krishna is a transcendental child. He has that belief, but again, in a father's role, he's slightly concerned that Kamsa's army would come for him. So he had that measures taken by appointing a few cowherd men to protect the son while he's away to Mathura. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nicely shared so many points. So, as you mentioned, the news has already reached that Kamsa has started to prosecute the young babies. Nanda, being the leader of the community, it is his duty. He's Rajendra Nandana, he's Rajendra, basically. Raja Indra, or the king of Raja, or actually the father basically is the leader of the community. Nanda Maharaj is the leader of the community, and he has to pay taxes. But before the ministers or soldiers of Kamsa come, and they get to know that here is Krishna, and who seems to be very divine, right? So out of Vatsalya Rasa, Nanda Maharaj does not want any people, especially demonic people like Kamsa, to get closer, or his evil ministers, soldiers, etc. So before they come, let me go. So my child is protected. Vatsalya Rasa is predominant here in these verses. So everyone wants to protect their child, but here Nanda Maharaj and Krishna, their love is a million times more. Or million is just a number to give some context. It is totally a different platform. So he's this prepping to go to give the taxes. Any more comments? We'll pause. What happens?
So Prabhuji here, he had worshipped various demigods and forefathers. So looks like demigod worshipping is also prevalent at that point.
Yeah, this is a common theme. But what is the purpose? That's the main point. Like His Holiness Navigendra Maharaj also mentioned this, that Sita Mata also worshipped Gauri Ma to get Ram as her husband back. Gopis worshipped Katyayani to get Krishna as their husband. We go to Lord Shiva, devotees may approach Lord Shiva, but asking give us pure love for Krishna. So if the intent and the aspiration is to ask for pure bhakti or to enrich in our bhakti or Krishna consciousness, then it's absolutely fine. But if the intent is to ask for antavantu phalam tesham, to ask for those phala which have a temporary end, like oh God, give me better job, give me better home, give me better this, better car. That's how we should not approach the demigods. Even if one has those desires, still one should approach the Krishna. So they're not approaching here for material things like gopis and or anyone for that matter we read. They're approaching for a pure spiritual cause, which is bhakti in Bhagavan.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Krishna, thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I just want to share one more comment here. Actually,
Yes.
in Srila Jiva Goswami, he stated that Nanda Maharaj, he was never paying any tax to Kangsha. Actually, he was kind of ignoring Kangsha until Krishna was born. And when Krishna was born, just because of Krishna's sake, he decided to go to pay taxes and also with presentations. Just so that Krishna is being saved. And as you mentioned, that he also worshipped because of that, actually, so that Krishna can be saved. And we saw that in Srila Prabhupada's case. Srila Prabhupada even went to see Indira Gandhi, because it's not because of that he wants to be more prominent, or he just wants to make sure that his disciples, especially the Western disciple, can stay in India because they were helping in preaching. And because of that reason, so I mean, we see that our Prabhupada's example. So, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that example as well and adding your wonderful comments. Any last comments before we pause for today? Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha, Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.